walking in faith, walking in truth, you know, not trusting my feelings, trusting how great I am as a fighter, and I believed it. And I just kept on telling myself, you know, in the ring, what's the best option here? You know, what can I hit him with? You know, what is he doing? And then I kept, you know, kind of, you know, having that in my mind the whole time. But it's a testimony to people that are going through something that, you know, these things that happen to you sometimes where you quite don't.
You can watch this on the channel. This is from the post-fight press conference after he stopped Javier Fortuna in 6 rounds. Dropped him twice, then ended up finishing him off with a mean 3-piece combo in the middle of the ring in round number 6. And I do admit that I'm sold on Ryan Garcia. I don't feel that I'm ready yet to say that Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis is a 50-50 fight. But if Rolly Romero was able to get in early rounds against Tank Davis, if Mario Barrios was able to win a significant portion of the fight against Tank Davis, Issac Cruz, you know, we've seen that Tank is not one of those fighters. He's very good, high ring IQ, but he can be touched up. Now, the thing is, once he figures you out, kind of like they say Lomachenko does, you know, and I don't think that Tank Davis really gets a lot of credit for like his high, super high ring IQ. Like if you listen to him and watch his interviews when he talks boxing, he is truly a student of the game. I don't think people really give him credit for that. But we've seen that Ryan Garcia can be dropped. Luke Campbell put him down bad. We see that he can have like some dead spots, just like, you know, Tank Davis. And of course he has the size advantage. My problem is this. Here's why I feel that there's going to be some stumbling blocks and that I'm not confident, you know, that the fight is going to happen next. I think, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I don't feel confident, but listen to this. This is from the Golden Boy chief operating officer. Basically, he's in charge of, I guess, to keep it simple, financial shit with Golden Boy. You know, if there's any deal that Golden Boy has with the DAZN, he's the one that does all the research and all the footworks and puts everything together. So listen to what he had to say here in the post-fight press conference before Ryan Garcia got on the stage, and he was taking questions from the media about basically, you know, what has to happen for Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia to happen, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts. Since you're here, thank you for watching. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. Our topics of the video today are going to be obviously Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, the boxing scene article of Keith Thurman entertaining a possible fight with Erislandy Lara at a catchweight. We'll talk about that next. Fight of the week is going to be Joet Gonzalez versus Isaac Dogboe. You know, that's been July for you, but however, it's going to be a good fight. But the card overall, it's not like a super showcase fight, but definitely going to be action-packed. And then finally, the WBA, amidst another scandal, has ordered Leo Santa Cruz versus Leigh Wood. And I believe they only ordered that because, you know, they got this new scandal that just hit the news. And they're like, oh, shit, let's get back on our WBA consolidation. But anyway, listen to what he had to say. And let me know if this gives you some confidence that the fight can happen. I'm hearing some shit that it's going to happen, but I don't know, bro. You know, I've got bad intel before. Listen in. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe.
Any other questions? Oh, Manuk.
Hey, so earlier this week, Steven Espinoza said that, you know, he only sees one network for a potential Gervonta Davis-Ryan Garcia fight. Considering the history of both sides, how realistic do you think a fight is, considering the business has to make sense as well?
It's very realistic. You know, I like Steven Espinoza. He used to work for Golden Boy. So, like, he's...
You think he just took a shot at Espinoza right there? Also, hey, listen. I'm not doing this for my health. It'll be great if you drop a like. So, yeah. Look at this shot he just threw at Steven Espinoza right here. Let me start it over.
Considering the business has to make sense as well. Potential.
just looking for, to put him on these shows. So,
Right on. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, Manuk.
Hey, so earlier this week, Stephen Espinoza said that, he only sees one network for a potential Gervonta Davis-Ryan Garcia fight. Considering the history of both sides, how realistic do you think a fight is, considering the business has to make sense as well?
It's very realistic. I like Stephen Espinoza. He used to work for Golden Boy. So, we've known him for a long time. He's anything could happen. I mean, I hope everybody here writes about it, do the fight, but there's no way we're going to just do it without DAZN involvement. I mean, DAZN's been with us. DAZN helped us build Ryan. How would it be if, you just take him away and, to do an exclusive with Showtime? I mean, Showtime has done split broadcasts, so there's absolutely no reason why, they shouldn't do it this time. It doesn't make sense, and it's not going to happen. It's going to happen with DAZN involved.
Absolutely. And just in regard to one of your other fighters, it was reported today that Siniesa Estrada is no longer with Golden Boy. What essentially led...
I do have to do a video on that too. But, you heard what the man said. DAZN absolutely has to be involved. And you can understand from the business standpoint, when he's sitting down with these DAZN executives and, structuring these deals for Golden Boy. And then all of a sudden, people are asking him at a press conference to say, well, listen, if it has to happen on Showtime, it has to happen on Showtime. But in reality, Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis, in my opinion, I'm not confident that that's a million pay-per-view buy fight. Maybe it'll get close, but which ways can they get to that million pay-per-view buys? Think about it like this. Here's a scenario. What if the zone says, all right, we're going to go full. Whoever's going to be broadcasting it. What if they go like really all in, a full like face off with, I'm talking about a sit down like they used to do on HBO with Max Kellerman, pull Brian Campbell out of the mix who works on, into the mix who works for Showtime, where they have a sit down face off for 30 minutes, Tank Davis on one side, Ryan Garcia on another side. And then what if they do another one with Oscar De La Hoya on one side and Floyd Mayweather on the other side, talking about how they've built both of their fighters up. There's ways that they can really, really promote this fight. But I agree with Stephen Espinoza where it's not a joint broadcast fight. My other issue is Tank Davis is the A side. The fight for Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna did something like what? Just a little under 12,000 tickets, to where Tank Davis, when he goes to events, he sells out or damn near gets close to sellouts, And overall, he's got that pay-per-view experience. You can't rely on in this economy. Well, Ryan Garcia has more Instagram followers. That shit don't sell fights. In my personal opinion, Tank Davis is the A side. He's the A side. Now, for Ryan Garcia to go on the record to be like, okay, you know what? For those who didn't see it, I'm going to play this interview one more time since we are here. Ryan Garcia is the A side. Tank Davis is the A side. So for him to be talking about, well, it has to happen at 140, and I think Tank Davis will be, cool with it. I'm thinking that's going to give PBC at Mayweather Promotions, more reason to be like, okay, it's something about 140 he don't like. Let's make this fight at 135. But listen to what he had to say. I'm gonna play this.
Also sharp at 135, but
Hold on.
but I like one. So we did it, and I'm like, well, I'm way comfortable here. There's really hasn't been a plan, but it's just how things played out. It's how things played out because he couldn't make 135, and I was like, what? All right, whatever.
This is after he had knocked out Fortuna in 6. He was on his way back to the locker room, and then he had to do his post interview with the DAZN team, and he's talking about how the fight came to be at 140 pounds against Fortuna, and basically he's saying it was Fortuna who couldn't make the 135. So then Ryan Garcia is saying, okay, well, let's make it at 140 because I want the fight. And then now he's saying he's comfortable at 140. He likes 140, and then he's never going back down to 135. And that Tank Davis has to fight him at 140 pounds. I don't think he can call those shots.
I didn't want to cancel the fight.
Yeah, of course.
So I said, let's do 140.
Yeah.
Because I'm big, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm little. So we did it, and I'm like, well, I'm way comfortable here. There's really no need to go back down to 135. Let's get the big fights going. I'm sure Devin can't make 135 either. Let's be honest. That dude is big too.
See why Devin Haney is the 135-pound undisputed champion of the world. You know, and he's going to be fighting George Kambosos in a rematch in Australia sometime in October or so. That's the news that's going around. And why would he just drag Devin Haney into it? Like, you know, if you ain't going to fight him, like, let's for real. You know, let's be for real. He can't, you know, make the weight either. Like, bro, he's making the weight. Like, what do you mean? Like, the balls on this kid.
That's no little guy either. No, none of us are going to be at 135. Let's be real. None of us are going to be at 135.
That's
140,
That's true.
147.
I said you were being you're being the trendsetter by being the first. No,
That is true.
to lead the weight class.
Yeah.
Because everybody's gonna say you're running.
Yeah.
No, I'm not running. Just come on.
I think
Hey,
we
man,
saw
hey.
on tonight's
Regardless,
performance, he
everyone's
isn't
gonna come
running.
to you.
Yeah.
He isn't running. Finally, look, we all want Gervonta Davis. I think everyone wants to see Gervonta Davis next. If not, we saw a host of names at 140. Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez.
That's who I fight.
You just want the tough ones. He wants Gervonta or Teofimo.
boom, boom. We're not here to play around.
We're not playing around anymore.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak for you.
No.
You know me well, then. You know me well, because I was going to say the same thing. I'm not here to lolly-da. You know what I mean? I'm not here to play games. I'm here to really just beat the guys I want to beat. I know I could beat these guys. I see it in my head. I know what they could do, and I will beat these guys. I know I will. I could see it. It's just right there. I'll put it together. I have the game plan and run it up on them. That's it.
Finally.
I'm not saying it'll be easy, but I'm saying that if I put in the work and the time, the effort, and I use the wisdom I'm blessed with, I will beat these guys for sure.
Finally, Ryan, look, we're desperate to see you fight and stay busy. You fought Emmanuel Tagoe 3 months ago, a fight now. Can we see you again before the end of the year, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No matter what, I want to fight in December. I said 3 times this year. I'm, committed to be a man of my word. All you have in this life is your words and your balls. So I ain't going to break them for nobody.
You have both of them, sir. Ryan Garcia, fantastic performance.
Somebody just watched Scarface. I mean, it's sound all good, and he's been talking about how, like the fighters, the promoters and the managers work for the fighters. And, if the fighters want certain fights, they got to push for it. Well, we're going to have to see because, the stumbling block right now, I feel, is going to be the network. And if there's going to be any blame to be put on someone, just like it was with Munguia and Charlo, they couldn't even get that done. And that's a lesser fight. I feel it would be on DAZN and it would be on Golden Boy. But at the end of the day, according to Steven Espinoza, Ryan Garcia is a Golden Boy fighter, but not a DAZN fighter. Does that mean that all Golden Boy fighters have to fight on, DAZN because of Golden Boy's, I don't know. It seems Canelo had some issues with that in the past. But, that's pretty much all I really have to say about the topic because only time will tell. And as far as the Teofimo Lopez fight, possible, it can happen. But we've seen that Teofimo Lopez ended up on DAZN because of, purse bid, and then one with Triller fell out, went to Eddie Hearn Matchroom. So, I would have more confidence in a Ryan Garcia versus a Teofimo Lopez happening. But by the way, Teofimo Lopez is returning on August the 13th against a Pedro Campos on Top Rank on ESPN. And then it's looking like if he wins, he's going to go on to fight Arna Barboza in an eliminator for the WBO title at 140 pounds. So he's officially at 140. But for some reason, Ryan Garcia definitely don't want no Devin Haney work. And if that fight was to happen, it's going to be when Devin Haney moves up. And I do believe that Devin Haney will move up. In my personal opinion, if he beats Kambosos twice, I don't think he's going to stay at 135, after that second Kambosos fight. Do I feel that Ryan Garcia can beat Tank Davis? I think he has a chance. I'm not going to say you don't have a chance. I would pick Tank Davis, but Ryan Garcia's got the goods. He can box. He's clearly got the size. He's got the body work, and he's better than, let's go look at Tank Davis's resume. Where is that? Tank Davis, 27-0 with 25 KOs. Rigas versus Ryan, I don't know. Rigas Prograis got to get any type of fight. He's better than Rolly, better than Issac Cruz. It's a damn shame Issac Cruz, Ryan Garcia couldn't happen, but whatever. And who's Issac Cruz fighting next? Some bullshit fight, right? Eduardo Ramirez on Andrew Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. That press conference is tomorrow. We're going to be here streaming that. Fucking boxing, man. You know, if Rolly was able to get those rounds, and look, Rolly was leading. Well, not leading. Oh, yeah, he was. He was leading on one card. It was a close fight, you know, because Tank was trying to figure him out to go for the big shot, and boy, did he get it. You know, Mario Barrios was having some early, you know, to mid to later round success until he just got chased down, beat up, and knocked out. Leo Santa Cruz was having, you know, some success, but he was going toe-to-toe with the bigger fighter and threw the same doggone punch 3 times, got his ass put to sleep, peaceful ass slumber he had. We're going to talk about him later on in the video. Yurkis Gamboa, well, you know, he had 1 foot, 1 shoe. So looking at those guys right there, it's impossible, in my opinion, not to give Ryan Garcia a chance. 23-0 with 19 KOs. And he did put on a statement, even though Javier Fortuna is the smaller fighter. And let me talk about this here. I put a voodoo storyline on the fight. That's how I said, you know what? I found the opportunity with the whole hat thing, and I said, I'm going to sell this fight off of voodoo. And in my opinion, you know, Javier Fortuna needs to consult, when he tries it again, needs to consult an experienced voodoo practitioner, because whatever spell he tried to put on, maybe he didn't have enough cigar smoke or whatever. Maybe he didn't follow the rules of voodoo, but it didn't take. And if anything, the voodoo probably, you know, bounced back on him because he looked like shit and got his ass knocked out. So, but that's the thing. No, T Street, for some reason, I had a whole lot of people in the comments telling me I need to find Jesus and all that type of stuff. No, T Street doesn't practice fucking voodoo. You got, I don't practice voodoo anymore. Moving on though. Realistically, if Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis don't happen, or Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo don't happen, you know who it's going to be. They already putting it out there already. It's going to be Jojo Diaz, December. It's going to be Jojo Diaz, and he's going to make Jojo Diaz come all the way up to 140. That ain't going to be cool. That ain't going to be cool at all, Jack. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. Thank you for watching. I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360. An article was put out a couple of days ago about a possible fight between Keith Thurman and Erislandy Lara. Would you have ever thought that? Now, I've met both of these fighters in person. I was at Erislandy Lara versus, get off the screen, Ryan Garcia. I was at Erislandy Lara versus Terrell Goucher. And I was at Keith Thurman and Darren Garcia, where Angel Garcia was called a racist bigot because he called Keith Thurman a bitch ass nigga, not nigger, nigga. And in Philadelphia, I don't make the rules. In Philadelphia, New York, and other places where Puerto Ricans reside, for some reason, I don't make the rules. And I grew up with the Puerto Ricans. They get to say nigga. All right? So people were looking at Angel Garcia like, yo, you just called him a nigger. You racist piece of shit. And then he got muzzled for a little while, for he couldn't do interviews and shit. They tried to ban him from being in Danny Garcia corner. But he ain't no racist. He's just racially insensitive. That's pretty much what it is. But anyway, this article came out. Thurman considers catchweight fight with Lara, expects to return in October. Boy, they're trying to make October and November, they're trying to make it busy. And remember, he fought Mario Barrios on pay-per-view. So if he fight Erislandy Lara, you damn well know it's going to be on pay-per-view. Now, here's who's supposed to return all in that October, November, December lineup. And I'm talking about the possible pay-per-views. Let's see here. Okay. So you got Spence versus Crawford, whenever the hell that's going to happen. Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius, whenever the hell that's going to happen. Tank Davis, his next fight's going to be pay-per-view. They want to do Thurman versus Lara. Who else It's another pay-per-view that's supposed to be cooking. Remind me. And then, of course, September the 4th, they're having a press conference tomorrow. You're going to have Andy Ruiz taking on Luis Ortiz on pay-per-view. I like that fight, to be honest. You know? But, oh, and then for August, Showtime has Jake Paul and Hakeem Rahman on pay-per-view. So these pay-per-views in this economy, like, they fucking people up. Did you see how high chicken is? How high beef is? Bread, mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is high as shit. You know, eggs. Obviously the gas, and we're supposed to be happy that gas is now what? Here in PA, about an average of $4.60 a gallon. Yeah, Canelo in September. You know, they out here tripping with these pay-per-views, bro. Tripping. So currently, Erislandy Lara is the 160-pound WBA world champion. So he's competing right now actively at 160 pounds. The WBA has ordered, this was today or yesterday, the WBA has ordered Golovkin, if he wins, whatever happens between him and Canelo, he's got to fight Erislandy Lara to unify those WBA belts at 160. So that's already been ordered. Erislandy Lara, 29-3-3 with 17 KOs. He's listed at 39 years old, but he's one of those young Cubanos. So, which means he probably like really like 44. And I say this all the time. Fucking damn toe fungus. Get out of here. And I say this all the time. Erislandy Lara's been around forever. He has been on like what is it? Knockout Kings. Wasn't he on like Knockout Kings 1 on like PlayStation 1? Like this dude, like seriously, wasn't most of you kids like when he, you know, like started boxing? How long ago was Carlos Molina and Paul Williams, bro? Like this dude, let me tell you something. I think like he's like a vampire or some shit. I get real superstitious, you know, but like, bro, Lara's been around for a long ass time. Like I was at least, this was before I went to college when I started watching Erislandy Lara. I'm 38 now. So I've been watching him. He was on HBO like 20 years ago. And look what he's been doing. It gets ugly. It gets real, real ugly. Look what he's been doing. I covered this fight. He fought Spike O'Sullivan on the undercard of Tank Davis versus Rolly, knocked him out. It is no way that fight should have ever been happening, bro. Thomas Lamana, Greg Vendetti, Canelo's balding Widow Peak brother, Ramon Alvarez. He got revenge. The Brian Castano fight was a big, significant fight. Really, ain't nobody really give a fuck about that fight at the time. But it's a fight that aged well. Joet with Hurt was like fucking 250 pounds. He just straight like walked through Erislandy Lara, fucked him up. All that jab, straight shit didn't work. Terrell Goucher, I was there. People started walking out, bro. It was nasty. That's one of the only Barclays Center fights where they didn't have a post-fight press conference. They're like, you know what, everybody just get the fuck out, go home. Yuri Foreman, this was PBC. And you want to know another thing about an interesting fact about Erislandy Lara? He was so bad and stunk it up so bad. Do you know he was the last fight for PBC on Spike TV? After his fight with Yuri Foreman, PBC on Spike was like, you know what, that's it, we're done. You know, fuck this shit, get off our network. Venus Martirosyan rematch, that came way too late. Jan Zavek, that was the last fight for PBC on ESPN. They had beach shares and shit out there. That's like, you know what, get him the fuck out of here. We're done with you as an organization. We're done. Issac Smith, he ain't really do shit since he fought Canelo. But guess what? I would love to see him versus Keith Thurman. But can they work out a weight, though? Here's what Keith Thurman had to say about a catch weight. Let's see. All right, this is from Jake Donovan. Let me go do a little bit of reading Rainbow for you guys. Excuse me. Keith Thurman had a vision of an active year that would end with his becoming a 3-time champion. As we creep deeper into the summer, it's become apparent that the 3-fight 2022 campaign could be limited to just 2 fights. There is a shot, however, at fighting for at least a secondary title in lieu of re-entering the welterweight championship mix. The former WBA, WBC welterweight champ is still sorting through several possibilities for his next fight, which he expects to come in October. Our welterweight fight is obviously the preference, but he's also considering a move up in weight only for one night. The target would be Erislandy Lara, former junior middleweight titleist, who currently holds the WBA World Middleweight title. The talented Cuban boxer previously dropped Thurman's name as a potential future challenger, something that the career-long welterweight is willing to entertain as he awaits a firm update on the next ring adventure. All right, I'm going to try to read this in Keith Thurman's voice. If the right fight manifests itself in the upper divisions, I will consider it. Thurman told BoxingScene.com, specifying Lara for such a fight. It's funny, all this time I thought Erislandy Lara was still in the 154-pound division until someone explained to me that he's at 160. That's why they said he'd fight me at a catchweight. We haven't seen many fighters in history moving up from 147 to 160 and were successful. Taking on historic challenges entices me more. So what weight would it be at, though? The possibility of such fight comes only as Thurman, 30-1 with 22 KOs, one no decision. Where did that no decision come from? Awaits a firm update on the possibility of Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford super fight for the undisputed welterweight championship. Such a fight has become the talk of the sport, though coming at the minor inconvenience of welterweight contenders waiting for their shot at the division's top prize. I think that would happen, though. I think I said that before, that if Spence versus Crawford doesn't happen, then we likely would see Spence versus Thurman, because they've been really building that for years, or Spence versus Crawford. I think that, though. I think that. But what weight, though? The welterweight belts are tied up. Even for whatever reason, Spence Crawford don't meet later this year, although an indication is already done. It's already done and just awaiting a firm fight date. All right, well, we already thought that. So basically, same thing. I've always thought that, and I still think that Crawford Spence is done. They're just waiting, to get all the particulars and everything together. Don't be surprised if they try to pump that out around, and have it done before Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman step in the ring. Thurman has not weighed more than 152 pounds in 15 years as a pro, and prepared to go even a few more pounds for the sake of answering the call out of a fighter eager to land a big name while in the twilight of his career. That's what it sounds like. We know he's toward the end of his career. I'm not saying his fight will be the last one, but definitely wants to go out with a name, acknowledges Thurman. He's someone I've known for many years. I've admired his boxing skills. I don't assume, but if we do try to assume, it seemed like he wants to go out with a valid list of names before it's too late. So what catchweight? Listen, now Lara, in my opinion, is a smaller 160-pounder. I wouldn't be surprised if Lara never weighed in more than 165, going into the ring on any given fight. Let's go look at his weights for what he's weighed in. He's not a big guy at all. He doesn't seem like a guy that goes into the ring, rehydrating more than 10 pounds. Just my personal opinion. Canelo at 155. So big, okay, he's weighted at 156 and a half. Against Ronald Hearns, of all people. $158 at his debut. So, I mean, he does have the height advantage, the reach advantage. But one thing, if you haven't noticed about Lara over the last several years now, his legs, like, he slowed down a lot. Like, dude ain't what he used to be. He gets touched up now, which makes his fights more exciting because he has to let his hands go. But the thing is, he's a very accurate puncher, and still he would be the bigger fighter. 5'9", a 75-inch reach. He do got some long ass arms. Keith Thurman, I've met. He's a legit 5'7". He ain't you see how this shit got him listed at 5'9 and a half, bro. Keith Thurman is not no 5'9 and a half. Trust me. 69-inch reach. But I would give Thurman a chance. You know why? Because what have we seen Keith Thurman's problem is if you punch him in the stomach. Lara don't go to the body. So even though Keith Thurman would have to play the pressure fighter, I'm not sure if he can outbox the bigger, longer, and that's really significant. The longer Keith Thurman. I mean, Erislandy Lara. You know, Thurman would have to play the pressure fighter and a counter puncher, and would require some lunging because Erislandy Lara is not no slouch defensively. You know. But if they were to do the fight, would you entertain it on pay-per-view? I think, listen, I would entertain it. If it's Thurman going up to 160, but you know what'll happen, though? What if Thurman wins? You know what's going to happen? He would be Golovkin's mandatory, and we know that ain't going to happen. We know we ain't going to see it happen because the WBA, if I said it earlier, but they've ordered Golovkin and Lara to fight to unify those WBA belts after Canelo Golovkin 3 September the 17th. But it's definite that Thurman needs to stay active because every time he's supposed to have this get back year, you know, he goes on these long layoffs. And it's mostly because I do believe that PBC just don't have the dates. You know, Mario Barrios, you know, that was in February of this year. But then, you know, the Manny Pacquiao fight, you know, that was what? He was on a 2+ year layoff. Jose Zito Lopez, you know, he did have a 2-fight 2019, 1 fight 2017, 1 fight 2016. So his fights are like significant fights. And I did, you know, like the Barrios fight. I did kind of rate that. But it's clear that he doesn't want to fight Boots Ennis, though, that's for sure. He don't want that. Kind of like when he was trying to get Robert Guerrero before he eventually got him, and guys like Paulie Malignaggi. I think he feels like the same, you know, to where he don't want to have a young buck try to make their name off of him. Because let's face it, at 147, listen, who's he going to fight? It's got to be Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz. If he's not going to get Spencer Crawford, it's got to be Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, Stan Ionis, and everybody else ain't going to really move the needle. I mean, Uga's face still broke. I would entertain that fight. I'm not sure if it would be worthy of pay-per-view. I don't know. But then again, if they, I don't know. Because if they do him versus Lara on pay-per-view. By the way, Mikey Garcia is retired, so he's got to get out the rankings. So yeah, why not Lara? You know, at a catch weight of maybe 155 or something. I think 155 would be the weight they would pursue that fight at. What else is on the docket here? We got a couple more topics left. But anyway, what's going on with you guys? Let's do a little bit of take a little bit break and chill. In fact, since we're here, let's go look at the boxing schedule. Before I move on to the next topic, which is going to be what? Joet Gonzalez versus Issac Dogboe Fight Week. For those who are going to be in the house this weekend, it's it's an okay card. You know, the main event is going to be exciting, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let me pull up the boxing schedule. By the way, Big Baby Miller is fighting this weekend as well. He's returning. What up, Jesus Garcia? I'm just joking, Jesus. I'll be here tomorrow morning, likely. I got to do some gardening, though. And it's going to be 96 degrees tomorrow. And normally the main event for Australian fights are not until like 8:30 a.m. So I want to make sure I get like my gardening done before this main event. But anyway, I'm going to be here for Tim Zoo's brother taking on Ben Horn. That's going to be early tomorrow morning. That's degenerate boxing for me. Sam Goodman versus Juan Alorde. So I'm probably going to be covering both of these cards to both of these fights tomorrow. Let's see what else is coming on here. We're just doing a quick skim through the boxing schedule. I'm going to tell you guys which significant fights and which ones I'm going to be covering. So let's see. This is the card we're going to talk about next. So we're going to skip this because we're going to do a whole deep dive into that. Joseph Adorno returns down in Orlando. Aver Sparrow, if he doesn't get booked, he's fighting. Here's who Big Baby Miller's fighting. Derek Cardenas. Let's see who this guy is. Let's see what's going on here. Do they have him listed? You know, this motherfucker weighed in at 341 pounds in his last fight. I had a stomach virus and wasn't feeling good, but I did watch the fight. You can watch it on YouTube. And he looked like shit. 8 and 9. Oh, so he just fighting get back fights, huh? You guy, Big Baby Miller, you disappoint me, man. But hey, I get it. He's trying to rebuild his career. But it's definitely noticeable for people who say he was on the juice. They're like, oh, no wonder why you needed that juice. Look at you. What else? Next week is a big one. Danny Garcia versus Jose Benavidez Jr. Adam Kownacki versus Demirezen. Gary Antuanne Russell versus Rances Barthelemy. Derevyanchenko returns. Vito Mielnicki returns. Julian Williams returns. I'm guessing these 3 fights are going to be on the Showtime YouTube, and these 3 are definitely the main card. So I want to see, you know, J-Rock Williams return. He, you know, there's no way he should have lost to that dude he lost to. All right, let's see. I'm interested in this fight as well. Chris Billum Smith versus Isaac Chamberlain. That's going to be on Sky Sports. Hopefully, maybe Top Rank picks it up. ESPN, I mean. Josh Kelly returns. Harlem Eubank. And let's see here. What's in August? So basically, the only significant fights in August are Paul versus Rockman. You got Mick Collin versus Mariaga, but I don't think that's that's not a big fight. Damn shame what's going on with Anthony Peterson. He just can't, you know, keep it together momentum-wise. So August is a nasty month in boxing. Ew. Teofimo Lopez returns August the 13th against Pedro Campa. Xander Zayas returns. He was sick recently. I forgot which card he was supposed to be on that he pulled off early. It wasn't his last top rank card. It was the one before, I believe. Oscar Rivas defending his Bridgerweight title. Hannah Gabriels returns. Eleider Alvarez returns. This is a what card is this? Why does Big J always message me when he knows I'm doing a live stream? Like, bro. Like, bro. Okay, yeah. August the 20th, Usyk versus Joshua 2. That card is almost finalized. Badu Jack's going to be on this undercard. We do know that, and a couple of other fighters. Navarrete versus Eduardo Baez. That's on the 20th. And then, of course, Broner Figueroa, Roa on the 20th. Logjam on the 20th. Pedraza versus Comey. That's pretty much like a career match on the 27th. And yeah, that's August for you. You know, September opens up with Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. September the 10th, Shields versus Savannah Marshall, Mayer versus Baumgartner. Alvarez versus Golovkin. Canelo versus Golovkin 3, September the 17th. Shakur Stevenson versus Konsakow, also September the 23rd. What other fight is it on September the 17th? I could have sworn it was another one that day. Joe Joyce versus a TBA on the 24th. And then November is supposed to be picking up. Yeah, what card is, there he is on the Pedraza card, right? By the way, I put the fight schedule down below in the description box for the significant fights for the big networks, the ones that I know I'm going to be covering. So if you go there and check those out. But let's go and talk about this Isaac Dogboe card real quick. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, and teach through controversy with Fight V360. This weekend on Top Rank on ESPN, or is it ESPN Plus? Here, let's watch the promo. I believe it's regular ESPN. Let's watch the promo here.
And it gets him with a big right hand. Big hook comes raining in. It is over. That is it. Oh, a knockdown score. Giving them exactly what they came to see. Oh, one punch knockdown. What a shot by the young star. This fight is over.
All right, so that's going to be on ESPN Plus at 10 p.m. Eastern. Joet Gonzalez taking on Isaac Dogboe, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going with Joet Gonzalez. I don't really rate Isaac Dogboe that highly anymore, but mostly because of the weight. He's 5'2", 27 years old. He's listed at 5'4", but I'm pretty sure he's 5'2". Listed. What is up with this toe fungus? This is inappropriate. Got a boot put in his ass twice by Manuel Navarrete. Some people, which one of these do people feel? I don't remember that he lost both of these fights and he got the gift. I think it was the Adam Lopez fight that a lot of people, really felt that he lost this fight. But at 126, in my opinion, 122 is where he needs to be. But, if your body can't handle the weight, you can't handle the weight. Joet Gonzalez, 25-2 with 15 KOs, 28 years old. Remember, he had that big fight with Shakur Stevenson, and it was like basically a fight for love because Shakur Stevenson was dealing with his sister, and it caused like a family rift and shit. And ESPN made a whole storyline out of it. That was pretty wild. And basically, it was pretty wild. It was pretty wild. He also lost to Navarrete at 126. Got a win over Gio Santissima. And I got Dogboe. Let's go look at the rankings. When I look at these type of fighters, no disrespect to the fighters, but this is just really basically just a showcase fight. And as long as Navarrete is in the 126-pound division, and he's been flirting with 130, but as long as he's in the 126-pound division, both of those guys can beat him. Both of them can beat him. And as you can see, it's looking like we're going to find out on fight night that this may be a final eliminator. So, like what? I don't want to see Dogboe versus Navarrete 3. He's going to get beat up again. And I don't want to see, Navarrete versus Dogboe 3. And I don't want to see Navarrete versus Gonzalez 2. He only lost to Shakur and Navarrete. Those are big fights to lose, which is why I feel he's going to beat up Isaac Dogboe. Isaac Dogboe is a pressure fighter, but defensively, he just, he's got some significant, he's got some significant issues. Excuse me, my bad. And the division is already fractured. We're going to talk about Leigh Cruz and Leigh Wood in a minute. Mark Macedo lost to Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas will likely still go on to fight Leigh Cruz. Leigh Cruz will likely vacate, but we'll talk about that later on. Josh Warrington, he got his jaw broken, so he's still, on the mend. We really don't know what he's doing. Here's the undercard. This may be Gabe Flores's, hopefully he don't get beat up for his sake. But he's been having some issues. 21-1 with 7 KOs, 22 years old. 22 years old. The Abraham Montoya fight, majority decision. He got beat up this fight against Luis Lopez. I forgot which fight of his that I did a video on, and I was like, yo, they need to slow down with him. But overall, solid card. I'm not going to say that it's great, but, these two fights I'm really interested in. And heavyweight prospect right here. Cool name, Guido. See what he's looking like. Basically, it's a showcase card. It ain't, I'm going to be here. So for those who are interested, I'm going to be here streaming during the main event. It's the least I can do, for you, the people. Since you're still here, take your time out, like the video if you haven't. It looks like I'm going to be pumping out a lot more T Street Uncut content after the day because the boxing schedule for the rest of the month, well, outside of next week and pretty much, the first couple of weeks of August is kind of, T Street, do you think Broner will ever have a chance to win a title at 140? I don't know, bro. Broner's going to be 33 years old next week, man. So this card is going to be taking place on Top Rank on ESPN Plus at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, headlined by Joet Gonzalez and Isaac Dogboe, and then Gabriel Flores versus Giovanni Cabrera. Cabrera? Is that how you pronounce his name? Anyone seen some tape on this guy? I don't believe I have. I probably did, wasn't paying attention. That's usually how it goes with me. I'll have fights like this on in the background and don't be watching. And then watch it on Fight Night and I'll be like, oh yeah, that is that guy. So yeah, in other news, the WBA, here, let me pull this stuff up, get all this shit off the screen. We're going to be back on Thursday. Actually, we're going to be streaming tomorrow. Angel Ruiz Jr. and Luis Ortiz are having their press conference in LA tomorrow. In fact, it's not a virtual press conference either. It's one that's like in person. That's probably why Adrian Broner's pissed. But that fight's a pay-per-view. Broner's fight is just a regular Showtime fight. So tomorrow, let's see, at 4 p.m. Eastern, Andrew Ruiz and Luis Ortiz are having a press conference. Who's all going to be there? Abner Maris and Miguel Flores is going to be there as well. That's going to be on Showtime pay-per-view at 10 p.m. on September the 4th. So far, there's not a price for it yet. I wonder if they're going to do that shit $79.99. They're going to give us a special discounted price. It's only on pay-per-view because Luis Ortiz and Andrew Ruiz pretty much command a lot of money from PBC. That's pretty much it. But let's talk about what the WBA has done today, which is good news. Leo Santa Cruz has been holding on to that WBA 126-pound title for what, how many years now? Let me pull his resume up real quick. So, Leo Santa Cruz, well, the WBA has ordered Leo Santa Cruz to defend his title against WBA World Champion. Remember, Leo Santa Cruz is the WBA Super Champion at 126 pounds. The WBA has ordered him to fight Leigh Wood, but to unify those belts, and denied his request to fight Rey Vargas. So basically, Leo Santa Cruz and Rey Vargas is in the works. It's probably still in the works. Rey Vargas just recently defeated Mark Maxeo to win that WBC title, the one that Gary Russell sat on for so many years. So it's looking like that Leo Santa Cruz and his team, PBC Al Heyman, were trying to push forward with a unification between Rey Vargas and Leo Santa Cruz for the WBC and WBA titles. The WBA is like, nah, you got to fight Leigh Wood. We ain't letting it happen. So it's looking like that it's looking like I won't be surprised if Leo Santa Cruz drops that WBA Super World title and then Leigh Wood gets elevated. So we just talked about Isaac Dogboe and Emmanuel Navarrete and Joet Gonzalez. So Leigh Wood, if he gets elevated, then he can fight Josh Warrington and unify that WBA and IBF and the IBF. Rey Vargas and Leo Santa Cruz can still fight. But then, you know, see, this is what I don't like about this division. This is what I don't like about this division. You think, oh, and also, yes, Brandon Figueroa is the WBC mandatory at 126. He's moved from 122 and from Stephen Fulton rematch. And he is the mandatory for Rey Vargas. But I really believe that since they were already in talks, they're going to go forward with Rey Vargas versus Leo Santa Cruz. And then Leigh Wood is going to fight some type of interim fight as he gets elevated in the top 15. And then they're going to go on to build him up against Josh Warrington. Now, Navarrete, we don't know what he's going to do, but we do know that at least these three belts right here can be unified now that Leo Santa Cruz is not sitting on this belt no more. Now, look at this bullshit right here. Leo Santa Cruz, nicest guy, you know, in the galaxy. You know, great dude. You know, always puts on good fights when he's fighting top opponents, of course. 38-2 with 1 KO, 38-2. 38-2-1 with 19 KO. He's 33 years old. Tank Davis got knocked out. He got knocked out he lost to Carl Frampton, avenged that. But look, when was the last time he defended this title? Let me see here. Chris Avalos. No, wait, against Abner Maris? When was the last time he defended that one? There he is. Okay. Against Rafael Rivera. 3+ years ago, he's held on to this WBA Super World title. 3+ years ago, ladies and gentlemen, he's held on to this title. Let me do some basic math here. Alexa, how many months has it been since February 2019?
February 1st, 2019 was 40 months ago.
40 months!
By the way,
Alexa,
on Amazon.
Shut up. 40 months since he defended this title, bro. Talk about holding the belt hostage. 40 months. Long overdue. And I'm guessing maybe Eddie Hearn was putting the pressure on the WBA since they got that new scandal, which we're going to talk about on Thursday. I have to do a little bit more research. But come on, bro. That's just outrageous. So good for them. Because I'm sick of his ass. Yeah, 36 months is 3 years. Like, bro, he's outrageous. He's outrageous. And I know it's not him. It's his team holding on to that belt for political reasons. So now they knew they were supposed to get this shit done. And if you don't know, the WBA has been forced to consolidate these the WBA belts, basically get rid of their underling belts, the interim, the WBA world, and only have one belt in one division because the ABC had basically threatened them to like, yo, if y'all keep this shit up with these bullshit sanctioning fees and everything, and fighters not fighting each other, then, you know, you're going to lose sanctions in the United States, meaning it wasn't going to make any money. So the WBA is already losing money because they have to get rid of all of those different belts. Like, but good, you know, and this is not Leo Santa Cruz's fault, but yo, I'm glad that it's over with. You know, like fighters holding on to belt. Like, come on, man, 3+ years. And I would still entertain Ray Vargas versus Leo Santa Cruz. I think they should go forward. Or what? Leo Santa Cruz going to fight another sparring partner? Nah. And I would pick, by the way, I would pick Leo Santa Cruz to beat Ray Vargas. Leo Santa Cruz and Brandon Figueroa would be the fight right there. And I would pick Leo Santa Cruz. They both fight similarly, but Leo Santa Cruz is more skilled. That's definite than Brandon Figueroa. And it's looking like Ray Vargas' power has a question mark around it at 126 pounds. So I'm not confident in him at 126. You know, if Mark Magsayo actually had some type of game plan, you know, he could have maybe beat Ray Vargas, but he had no game plan. He just was headhunting. Yeah, I gotta look at this. I gotta research this next corruption scandal by the WBA, and we're gonna be talking about that in my stream on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So remember, I streamed Tuesday 6 p.m. In the case of today, it was 6:30 because the Adrian Broner, which he walked out of, and Omar Figueroa virtual press conference was at 5 p.m. So I didn't get done streaming until about 6:10 or so. I had to take a little break. But normally, I stream Tuesdays at 6 p.m., Thursday 6 p.m., Friday 6 p.m. when we recap the weigh-ins. You know, Thursdays we used to recap the press conferences, talk about the news of the day, and what we didn't talk about the day, what happened on Wednesday. On Saturdays we stream during the main events of main card. So if it's a card on Showtime, ESPN, or the DAZN, we'll be streaming during the main event. In this case, we'll be streaming during the main event of Joet Gonzalez versus Issac Dogboe, which is going to be taking place at 10 p.m. Eastern. The card starts on ESPN Plus. Well, they've given him 24 hours now to decide. Basically, they've given him 24 hours. Follow me on Twitter, by the way, at T Street Controversy. Here, I'll put it in the chat for you guys. Where is the chat? What did I do with it? Here we go. Bam. That's my Twitter. But let me see. I did retweet it. Where is it at? The WBA denied permission Leo Santa Cruz to unify with Ray Vargas. The WBA asked him to face Leigh Wood in 24 hours to answer. So he's got until tomorrow to answer if he's going to fight Leigh Wood or not. And it's looking like, to me, he's going to vacate. You know? So good. But all right, guys. If you could take your time out and like the video before you go. We will be back on Thursday, talk some more boxing. And then we're going to be rolling out channel memberships for fight nights because, frankly, our fight nights are pretty lit. You know, I only have one real main competition on fight night, and that's Showbiz. But he streams during the whole events, so he's able to get that consistent stream of people constantly coming in and watching, and all those subscribers. Me, I can't sit here and stream for no 4 hours. You know, I'm doing all kind of other stuff in the background, but we do stream consistently during significant fights. And I've noticed like a big jump and boost in subscribers and viewers like since we've been doing that. Like it's crazy. You know, we have a consistent about it's crazy. Like we're making some leeway. Bud Spit's done for November. How do you know, Marcel? But yeah, I believe the fight's done. I just don't believe any dates yet. I do believe it's going to happen in October, November, but I do believe overall the fight is done. We did a media call earlier today, virtual presser, with Adrian Broner and Omar Figueroa. It's the video before this, and Broner walked out basically saying fuck Al Heyman and fuck Steven Espinoza because he wanted a press conference in person and not virtual. But for Showtime, they do virtual press conferences for their regular fights and not for and they do virtual press conference for their regular fights, and they do in-person press conferences for their pay-per-views. So take your time out, like the video, subscribe. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern for the Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz press conference. That's going to be live from LA. We're going to be here streaming it. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Please subscribe.